Hello, what's up? I guess. So, I'm going to be making a Scratch shooter tutorial, and yeah, it's just going to be a shooter. So, first step is that you're going to need Google. You're going to need to get Google, and you're going to need to get onto Scratch and well, go click the. If you have an account, you have to click this one. If you don't, just click create here. And then, if you've got an account, click new project. I've already made one here, but if you click create, it automatically sends you right in. So even if once you click new project, it will send you inside. But since I've already got one, I'm going to use that one instead. And since it's empty, okay. So let's rename it to shooter. Toot. No. To. Honestly, I don't care what you name it, just name it something, okay? So I'm going to call this, uh, guide, that's glide. A guide on how to make a shooter. Thank you, Owen. Alrighty. Alright, step one. Step one is you're gonna have to say goodbye to Scratch Cat. We can't, sadly he is incompatible with what we are doing here. So, since this is just a tutorial, just step one, zoom in a bit here, and make a nice, decently sized circle or square, whatever you want. Mine is 34 by 34, that's the size that appears here, and basically, now all we've got to do is select the square, bring down, make sure to bring the saturation to 0, and bring the brightness to a grey. Make sure it's a grey colour. Don't press shift. Make a nice little sticky out bit, which will be the gun. Now click the back button up here, and now that is your sprite. Don't center this. You only want the circle to be centered, not the actual stick. Otherwise, I'll just break everything. So go back to the code, and first of all, let's get a movement script. Luckily, I have a simple movement script here. And if you want to make a movement script, here you go. I will give you, I'll give you a minute of, I'll zoom out here, okay? I'll give you a minute just to look at this, just to take everything, well, 30 seconds actually. So I'm going to give you 30 seconds to look at this, give it a nice look, and starting now. Yep, this is seriously how we're going to be doing it. So just copy this down, it's just a nice simple movement script. We'll change and just set the movement to whatever you want. The movement is whatever you want. It doesn't have to be 10, negative 10. Just make sure you change y by 10 for the or make sure it's negative number for change y by negative number for down. Right is yeah no. Alright, so yeah, that's done. Let's continue. Make sure, just extra notes, make sure the up arrow is change y by a positive number, down arrow is change y by negative, right arrow is change x by positive, left arrow is change x by negative. Make sure all of these are the same. The WASD are the exact same as these top ones. Make sure they're also the exact same to make sure there's no unfair advantage. And then just change up, down, left, right to WASD. So next step, let's get it to look at the mouse pointer. All you gotta do is click when green flag clicked, bring out forever, go into motion, and just put in point towards mouse pointer. Now it looks at you and you can move it. And I've made this a bit too thin. Let me just make it a bit better. Okay, bring it backwards. There we go. Now it's sticking out and it's no longer centered because we can actually see it. Alrighty, next step. Our next step is we've got to make the bullet. Make a new sprite. Name these if you want. I'm going to name this player and I'm going to name bullet. The bullet. Bullet. Right, in the bullet sprite, grab a square. do it whatever you call you want. I like to do yellow. Zoom in quite a bit. Make a square like this. Center it. That is our bullet. Make sure to set the bullet. Make sure that the player is always on the front layer. So whenever you click the green flag, make sure there's a go to front layer right there. This makes sure that the bullet doesn't overlap the player, and instead it goes underneath. Next step is to grab one green flag, another one green flag forever, and just go to motion. Make sure that this is in the bullet, and make sure the bullet always goes to the player. So now the bullet always is at the player. Right, now for the firing. The firing has to be in the bullet, otherwise this will not work. So, all it is we need a when green flag clicked, forever, if mouse down, then we've got to make a clone of ourselves. And then to finish this off, put in a wait until, not mouse down. And then this basically allows you to create a clone. Oh, 1 second. This basically allows you to create a clone and for it to basically be the same. When I start this clone, since it's already at the player, we want it to point towards mouse pointer, and then for it to go, we need it to go point towards the mouse pointer, and that's pretty much it. And then the last thing is that we need to repeat until touching edge. And for now, all we got to do is to move one step or how fast you want this bullet to be, and then delete this clone. Make sure the delete clone is there. Bang. And as you can see, it moves quite slow, so let's just bring it up to a nice 5 steps. That's better. And basically all this does, it allows you to fire bullets, and now you've gotten the bullets being fired. But if you want this to be a rapid fire, remove the wait until and just press your mouse down, and all of a sudden you're making fire rate big enough to break the entirety of the United States of America. And if you do want like an auto fire where it fires randomly, all you gotta do is just make a variable. That variable is 1 to 306, is 0 to 360, no, 1 to 360, or 0 to 360, whichever one you want. And basically make sure that the variable is done that, and then instead of pointing towards that, you just make it point in the variable direction, as well as the bullet, and it'll fire randomly. And that is how you make a nice bullet. And if you really, really want the bullet, you know, to blow up everything, that will be in the next episode because I really, really am suffering on storage space here. This has already been 10 minutes. You should see how bad my storage is.
It's quite bad.
Yeah. So, my videos. That's the reason why my videos aren't long or they're on my mobile phone. Yeah, so that's it for the tutorial one. It's just, tutorial one is basically basics, getting the gun to fire and all that. Episode 2 will be done soon, and it will be covering the enemy firing. It'll be basically covering the enemy death, cool effects for enemy death, bombs. Wait, no. Let me just. Episode 2 is about the enemy. Nothing else, just the enemy. And that is it. It's all you need for the enemy will be in episode 2 because my friend Owen really wants to do something. So, yeah. Well, it's been 10 minutes, now 11. So, that is episode 1 done. Thank you very much. And see ya later, I guess. See you until the next video comes out, okay? I know it's been a while since my last video came out, but yeah, this will be continuous, okay? Have a good day, people.